we've got another subclass here in this Unearthed Arcana, another dragon-themed one, and this makes me very excited.
I love this. This like we were talking about beforehand. This scratches an itch that everyone has. Who doesn't want a dragon? The game is called Dungeons and Dragons. I with all the films that have been out there, all the TV shows, all involving owning dragons or fighting dragons, all this stuff, but a lot of you owning a dragon, or you have a pet dragon, or you have a relationship with a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
This is very much part of pop culture, especially the last 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, from the days of Dragon Slayer and The Hobbit, where you just killed dragons on sight if you could. We've now entered, you know, Dragon Prince, and we've entered we've Game of Thrones, and I'm forgetting a Pixar film right now for some reason.
Yeah. And I mean, you can even trace this back to the 70s, right? Dragon Riders of Pern, all of that stuff. Yeah, and we have not gone full Dragon Riders of Pern here. You are not on a 60-foot long
nor are
jumbo
you burning down the thread
dragon. Yeah, right. This is a ranger who is almost in the same school of thought as the Beastmaster, except instead of a beast, you have a lesser dragon, a drake, at your side.
It feels so good. I'm so excited for the subclass. It makes me want to play it like right away and think about, you know, I was agonizing, what will I name my drake?
I feel like I'm courting controversy here with both of these subclasses, comparing one to 4th edition and the other to the Beastmaster.
Yeah, you're trying to trigger people right now.
I know. I'm trying to get people all up in arms. But I think
kind of being a troll.
This,
no.
I feel like if we look at this, we will see whether or not it's worthy of the controversy. So just like before, we've got an origin. You've studied a dragon's scale or claw or a trinket from its hoard and created your bond with the token's lingering draconic magic. Cool. A true dragon gave you a drake egg to care for, and when it hatched, it formed a bond. Awesome.
Yeah.
Like immediately, my storyteller's brain gets to thinking, who is the true dragon? How do I, a 3rd level ranger, have some sort of relationship with a true dragon?
And immediately a great story, and also the secret order of rangers who collect guardian draconic lore. That's fantastic. You drink a few drops of dragon blood, forever infusing your nature magic with draconic power.
And there are even some kind of weird esoteric ones like this last one. You had a vivid dream of a mysterious man accompanied by 7 yellow canaries who warned you of impending doom, and when you awoke, your drake was there watching you.
Wow, this is a deep cut. Yeah, this is a deep cut. I'll leave it at that. It is in D&D lore. So, but yeah, there are hints of past D&D lore that are in these kind of backgrounds. I feel for both of these UA, they're kind of fun. And the ancient draconic inscription on a standing stone empowered you. When you read it aloud, kind of does evoke a little Skyrim for me.
Yeah.
In that sense.
I think that if you are intrigued by the 7 yellow canaries, you should do a little bit of Googling and and learn what this deep cut is about.
Yeah.
Because man, if that's not a story hook, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Okay.
But 3rd level, Draconic
3rd level. Let's get into
Gift.
the mechanics here. Draconic Gift. You have a bond with your drake. It gives you a deeper connection to dragonkind, just like before you learn the draconic language. Perfect. Suitable. You also learn the Thaumaturgy Cantrip, which is a ranger spell for you. Interesting. Yeah. It gives you that sort of magical gravitas that, say, a cleric or a tiefling might have. You just have this sort of otherworldly je ne sais quoi about you.
That thunderous, booming Gandalfian voice. Your voice is a thunderbolt. But really, it's all about the Drake Companion. So
it's all about the Drake Companion.
I don't care about your Draconic Gift.
This Drake Companion feature takes up an entire page of text. So let's see if it's worth the space. You can magically summon the Drake that is bound to you. As an action, you can summon the Drake, which appears in an unoccupied space of your choice that you can see within 30 feet of you. Drake is friendly. It obeys you. It's friendly to you and your companions, and it obeys your commands. Its game statistics are provided just stage left. When you summon the Drake, choose a damage type listed in its Draconic Essence trait, which I think we can all guess is fire, cold, acid, poison, lightning, the classic dragon damage types. And you can determine its cosmetic characteristics such as its scale, color, texture, visible effect of its Draconic Essence, all that stuff. Your choice has no effect on its game statistics. So it's giving you a big, make your Drake, sculpt it however you choose.
Yeah, and from there, it acts like many companion creatures that we find in D&D now. They're especially linked to subclasses. It does share your initiative, but does not take its action until after you. You can command it to take other actions, and you have a limited amount of times you can summon it. The Drake remains around for multiple hours, depending on your proficiency bonus, which is nice. You can have this like kind of guarding the party if you want to, or until it's like reduced to 0 hit points.
I think there's something pretty interesting around here, and it's that it differs from the Beastmaster in one particular way. It can move and use its reaction on its turn, however it likes, but it also automatically takes the dodge action unless you've commanded it to do something. So the Beastmaster Ranger in the player's handbook, commanding it takes your action. So basically, instead of attacking yourself, you command the beast to attack instead. Here, you can take a bonus action on your turn to command it to take another action, any other action. There's no restrictive list of actions like the Beastmaster's Companion does. So we can already see instantly that a lot of those complaints that people had for the Beastmaster and have had for a long time have been altered here in this other companion ranger. And
you want to fight with your dragon.
Yeah, exactly. You want to fight along with your dragon. And there's one more bit. If you're incapacitated, you get to choose what action it takes. It no longer just kind of like puppy guards you. It can get angry and attack. It can flee. It can help your allies. There's this companion is just so much more versatile that I think it really encapsulates what people actually want a companion to do in your game.
I completely agree. And we look at it. We've got the Drake Companion is technically a small dragon. It scales with you. It has to. That's fantastic. Makes me very, very happy.
Makes me think of the wildfire druid who can summon a wildfire creature that will appear in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything.
Yeah, the wildfire spirit. And the great name for that is Cinder. But it's a great name for a Drake, actually.
Great name for a red Drake, yeah.
Yeah. So it's great that you have this fairly decent companion that can share combat with you. You can fight alongside, or there's a lot of interesting things you can do. It scratches that itch. You want this dragon. It's got Draconic Essence. That's when you choose what kind of damage it's associated with and all of that stuff.
There's one more thing I want to say about this, and I think we can move on to other aspects of this ranger that differentiates it from the Beastmaster, because we've talked a lot about how this companion is so dang powerful, how it is more versatile than a beast companion, how it does more damage, how it scales with you. What's the catch? Are we just leaving the Beastmaster in the dust here? And the answer is no, because you only have a limited amount of time per day that you can summon it. You can summon it once, and it lasts for a number of hours equal to your proficiency bonus, or until it's defeated, at which point it just vanishes. However, you can only summon it once per day unless you spend spell slots to do so more. The Beast Companion that the Beastmaster in the Player's Handbook has is always with you, and you can always find another one if it perishes. This Drake stays with you kind of in the ether around you until you conjure it forth, and for a limited amount of time.
But you can flavor that, right? Like maybe it flies off. And we can talk about that later. Maybe it runs
it's willful
off.
It's flighty. Yeah, I mean in fiction, these dragons are never laser focused. They have a mind of their own. They're always kind of getting up to mischief.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, they're up to their own devices. But again on this creature, what is very fun for me is Infused Strikes. When another creature within 30 feet of the Drake that it can see hits with a weapon attack, the Drake can infuse that strike with its essence, causing that attack to deal an extra 1d6 of damage, of the type determined by Draconic Essence. I like that you can use this to help somebody else.
Yeah, I like the idea of the Drake just like shooting a tiny little puff of fire that wreaths around your companion's sword as they hit.
Yeah, I mean, like, and this is also a little bit, this is kind of nice, I mean, you could be shooting arrows 30 feet away as well and still getting this benefit. But yeah, I like the idea of your dragon fighting alongside your companions, and maybe you're that ranger who's picking people off from a distance as well.
Yeah.
Watching this fight. What are we? First off, I'm just in love with this ranger. It's the best. I don't know.
It's awesome.
But I know I always say that, but like, I'm not saying it's the best subclass of all time. I'm saying this is my ranger.
Yeah, you're saying that you love it. I mean, that's exactly what these Unearthed Arcana should do, I think, is that they should really win you over with the coolness of the concept and the flavor of it all. And then the mechanics can be beaten into shape.
It's like it should make you fall in love with a subclass. And that's when you've kind of like hit it. And we saw the social media impact of this right away, or at least my social media obsession with it. I don't know about anyone else. But so at 7th level, the Drakewarden gets Bond of Fang and Scale. Walk me through this.
Yeah, the bond you share with your Drake intensifies when you reach 7th level, protecting you and stoking the Drake's fury. While your Drake is summoned, you and the Drake gain 3 benefits. You gain resistance to the damage type chosen from your Drake's Draconic Essence, so some of that power is now within you. Second, choose one of the following. The Drake either gains a swimming speed of 40 feet and can breathe in water, or it grows wings and a flying speed of 40 feet. I like how they've considered aquatic dragons in here. That's not something you see a lot. And it's probably a little more niche than a flying dragon. Flight is usually better, probably, but imagine you're playing an aquatic campaign, having some kind of sea dragon if you're playing through Salt Marsh would be very fun to have.
What is the size of a small dragon? Because I'm looking at the stats. It just says Drake Companion, small dragon.
About the size of a halfling or a goblin, really. So
a bit hard to ride. Because I know everyone's going to ask.
Yeah.
Can I ride it? Well, it always. I mean, this is. We see this with the the artificer battlesmith. You summon your robot dog or horse or whatever, and you're like, can I ride it? Nah, the answer is no, because it has to take its action after you, and it's very hard to do anything on a mount that has to take its action after you take your action.
And the trick with it being small instead of medium is that since mounts always have to be one size bigger than you, typically, even if you're playing like a gnome or a halfling or goblin Drakewarden, you still can't ride your little guy. It's just not quite powerful enough.
I don't get the impression this Drake is overly powered at all, actually.
I don't think so.
No, the Drake gets a by attack that deals an extra 1d6 of damage of the chosen type. This is not game breaking. I don't know any, like me as a ranger, if my Drake dies, I'm just casting it. I'm burning spell slots. I'm bringing this guy back. I'm casting Warding Bond on this. I have emotional attachment to this creature. And so it's not like necessarily a bruiser, but it's a great companion to go into fighting with.
Yeah. And there's one last thing, and it's the Drake powers up just a little bit more. It deals an extra d6 damage of its elemental type. So good. You can really see the scaling of this creature happening in real time, which is nice.
Yeah, and again, not overpowered in my opinion. So we got Drake's Breath. This is when you're getting that full dragon energy.
Very interesting. This subclass is all about the bond between you and your Drake. You're not just a guy.
Dragonheart.
You're not just a guy who's got a Drake. You share a spiritual connection between the two of you. So as an action, you can exhale a breath of elemental power, or you can cause your Drake to exhale it. So you choose a damage type as usual, and you can choose it every single time you do this. You're not locked in. And every creature in the cone must make a dex save against your spell save DC, taking 6d6 damage on a failed save or half as much on a successful one. That damage goes up to 8d6 at 15th level. And once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest unless you expend a spell slot of 3rd level or higher to use it again. I love breathing fire. What can I say?
It is what it is. This is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
it's really strong.
Rangers are not a class that tends to get a lot of big AoE effects, and so this fills a very cool niche of flavor and mechanical need that gives you not only mobile breath weapon, because this is now a flying Drake, remember, but you have the versatility of choosing between you initiating it or your dragon.
That's what I like, is that there is now this kind of metaphysical bond between you and this Drake, and it'd be weird if only you could do it. But for those that would want to send their Drake out to do this, very fun, very entertaining. I mean, now you can have the Drake kind of strafe and burn, your enemies. 66 is nothing to sneeze at.
That's a fireball right there. Or no, it's not actually. 86
fireball.
Is a fireball.
It's fireball adjacent though.
It's fireball adjacent. Yes.
it's definitely hanging out in that zone, but you are an 11th level ranger. I don't feel that this is egregious at all, and it's what you want. I want my dragon to fly by and just burn everything, or I want to surprise somebody. And I, like maybe someone's captured my Drake, and I walk up to the prison and I just burn everything out of rage.
The ability to spend spell slots to get it back is very good. We talked about this earlier with the Dragon Monk about spending key points and stuff. And that works here from a mechanical standpoint. But I also like the story consideration here of it's like a give and take of power, right? Your Drake has already given you power to use this breath weapon initially. Now it's almost like you are taking the magic from within you and giving it back to the Drake so that they can shoot flames too.
Yeah, and it is something like, I like this, what we've kind of seen even with druids, where you take the wild shape ability and you allow it to cause other things to happen. Like you summon a wildfire spirit, or you cause, infectious, poisonous, necrotic spores to shoot out from you, giving you this other option for your spell slots. I deeply like, much like sorcery points for sorcerers, being in the shadow sorcerer and summoning a hound. This gives you, like, maybe you're just not into the magical aspects of being a ranger. This is giving you that out, right? Sometimes people just want rangers to not be casting spells. Well, whether you agree or not with that doesn't really matter, but hey, this allows you to do something with those spell slots.
Right. Yeah. Your decision. This is a great way to just pump your spell slots into raw damage and cool dragon flavored power, if that's your cup of tea.
Now, Perfected Bond. Let's go through this. This is 15th level. This is kind of the capstone.
Yes. So first of all, last feature, your Drake's Breath powers up at 15th level. That's just a nice little boop that you get when you level up. But the real star of the show here, Perfected Bond, your bond with your Drake reaches the pinnacle of its power. While your Drake is summoned, you and the Drake gain the following 3 benefits. 1, the Drake grows to large size. We were talking about riding it.
Now
right?
We're riding it.
Now you're riding it. The Drake's bite attack deals an extra 1d6 damage. So just like the last one, it's now powered up to 2d6 more damage. Little bit of scaling. And finally, when either you or your Drake takes damage while you're within 30 feet of each other, you can use your reaction to give yourself or the Drake resistance to that instance of damage.
That is fantastic, because this kind of makes you the Cavalier. On a dragon. So I see you flying this. I see you going through the air. I see you getting into other battles with dragons, perhaps. I really like because I feel like you probably already got warding bond going on, but now you can give them resistance and not take additional damage yourself. It's lovely. It's what you want. If you want to be a dragon rider, this is the dream. And of course it would be a ranger.
Yeah.
Right? Like, of course it's a ranger.
there's a lot of fantasy where you might think of, well, surely it's the fighter who gets the dragon, right? Some sort of dragon knight. But no, the ranger is the one
But
who's
it's a
all about.
relationship.
It's a relationship, right? This is not a dragon steed. This is not a dragon whom you have subjugated. This is a dragon who is your life and death partner, and that fits within that ranger class fantasy in a way that I really love.
Like the cavalier doesn't suddenly know how to trot, like, you know, like they don't have that emotional bond with a horse.
Yeah.
This is something very, you know, spiritual and magical that's going on. And again, it's about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I see a fighter who's always, you know, cheating to get magic. And that's why I always see the rune knight. It's like I learned runes, or maybe I have some giant blood in me. That's not a relationship character. That's a character who has a little bit of secret knowledge, you know, kind of like the Eldritch Knight. But that's all about performance. Like, I'm really good at carving runes. You know, I'm really good at riding horses. This is a relationship character, and it's perfect for dragons. I'm over the moon. This is the ranger for me. I adore this, and I can't not role play that dragon, right? Like, to an extent, like that relationship.
I have to wonder almost if you have a friend who wants to join your D&D group, but they aren't really interested in like the mechanics of D&D very well. They just kind of want to be there, play with the friends, see everyone, get a little bit of that social contact, and be a part of the story. They could play the personality of the Drake, while someone who really wants to dig into the mechanical meat of this class could play the Ranger. And then you've got that interplay of social interaction here. Maybe give the dragon the ability to speak common so they can have fun with the rest of the party too.
That's very interesting, and that, you know, to play it off as this character, this Drake is and absolutely give it the ability to speak. But you're right, it's kind of a sidekick.
Mm-hmm. It is very much almost like a sidekick. We aren't going to talk about sidekicks today, but that is a thing that's going to come out in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything that I'm looking forward to chatting with you about, Todd, maybe next week or something like that.
Yeah, we were going to talk about Tasha's Cauldron of Everything and patrons, but we have 6 minutes.
Got a little excited about these dragons, didn't we?
Oh, but yeah, we were just a little bit excited. So I personally, I also feel like this ranger isn't too complex for someone to keep track of. Overall. Like, I would encourage a new player to totally play this, and not necessarily worry about all the other minutia of this, you know, the spell casting stuff like that. Like, if they just want to focus on dragon stuff, pretty simple.
Yeah. And if you're playing with some of those alternate class features that are debuting in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, then you have even more of ways to kind of pare back the number of things you're bookkeeping when you're playing a ranger also. So if you want to really laser focus into that all dragon power all the time, this is a very cool way to do it.
It's interesting how the monk is like increasingly complex, and this ranger I feel like is increasingly simple, but, you know, still absolutely what you want.
And that feels like a reaction to player feedback, you know?
Yeah.
People are always looking for more stuff for the monk to do. People are always talking about how the ranger has too many spells. So they're kind of converging in a way.
Question: we got some questions from chat, so we'll go dive in really quick.
Yes, please.
How does a dragon monk draconic sorcerer for playing Captain Falcon type character? I actually don't know who Captain Falcon is.
It's a character from well, they're talking about a Captain Falcon from Super Smash Brothers. The guy who like, Falcon punch, just kind of making these huge fist fighting moves wreathed in fire. I mean, that's a very funny image. It seems good to me.
Oh, it's how to train your dragon. That's what this subclass for ranger is all about. How to train your dragon. Plus, imagine kind of the alienation that may exist there with you having like a dragon pet. I mean, it is Dungeons and Dragons. People are going to be giving you a side eye. So
yeah, I mean, yeah.
There is that role play element that is inherent there, especially if you have a dragon that's melting people's faces. There's something to be said. So, Dragonborn, Way of the Ascendant Dragon Monk. Do you now have 2 dragon breath weapons? You do.
Yeah.
One of them is way better than the other.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel so. There's probably a mechanical consideration for this. Races tend to not be as powerful as class features, and that's intentional.
Absolutely.
Um,
Though there is that lovely feat if you want to get
mm,
that dragon feat that allows you to use fear
mhm.
instead. That's pretty powerful, actually.
If I were DMing someone who wanted to play a Dragonborn Way of the Ascendant Dragon Monk, I would say, don't worry about the specific mechanical differences between your breath weapons. Just say that your Dragonborn breath weapon gives you another use of your monk breath weapon. I think that's more fun. It's less complicated. It just feels right. And that's how rules is written. You won't be doing that in Adventurers League even when this thing gets published. But like
Yeah,
it just feels right.
it's good to accommodate your players and to simplify things.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like how I play, like how I deal with artificer alchemists. Like I'm not making you take an action to give someone a potion, and them take an action to drink it. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
that's too. What's this combat? People passing things to each other and then using them. Like,
Yeah.
that's a little exhaustive. So we got another question with a dragon-based monk out. What other creatures do you want subclasses based around? A flump comes to mind. I don't know that necessarily makes sense. Obviously, we've got kind of the bestial soul barbarian, which I feel does make sense. Dragon monk. I don't know if I would keep going down that road of dragons being. I could see other things that would radiate into you and make you be able to harmonize with. It's a good question. I don't
Give
really
me
see
something like a.
I don't see a Kraken monk. I don't want to see a Kraken monk, frankly.
I'll bet you could give your Way of the Astral Self monk a very cool Kraken theme with all your extra arms and stuff.
Yeah, you can always
limbs.
make those look like tentacles if you want to.
Yeah.
In the original UA, they actually called that out, that you can make them kind of manifest in any way. Other creatures kind of remind you of dragons. It's that remind you of like the harmony of a monk. Like a sphinx, I guess, possibly, but I don't know how that would really translate into combat.
Yeah, there are a bunch of sort of very classic D&D creatures that lend themselves well to subclasses. Like I would love to see like a beholder or sorcerer, and I guess we see a bit of that in the aberrant mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's kind of as intended. Like I've got a creepy backstory for that one.
Yeah, it could be cool to see creatures like a basilisk or Medusa with a petrification power be worked into a creature like a monk.
Wow. Yeah, that kind of notion of stone.
Yeah.
Like how did you become this way? Yeah, like you said, a basilisk changed you, or everyone in the village turned to stone but you for some reason, and now you've kind of it's still got a bit of that sorcerer energy to it, but like I do like that idea of a monk who can just turn to stone.
Yeah.
And in fact, there is an old UA called the Stone Sorcerer.
Oh yeah, I had a player who tried that out when I was playtesting Dragon Heist, I think. Yeah.
And much in the way that where the giant soul sorcerer didn't necessarily really make sense for sorcerers. Possibly that doesn't really make sense also is because it's both were attempts to kind of shove combat into a sorcerer. And both didn't quite work out, but like I can see a stone monk for sure. Especially like I see that monk who's just like every day, kind of like how you would hit a pail of water to increase the power of your slam with your fist, just hitting a mountain to do all day to increase your ki in some kind of like meditative state. I think that would be very cool.
Yeah.
So, well,
oh my gosh.
Well, I'm excited for the Dragon Ranger. I don't know who's going to play it first, my wife or I. I'm not going to play it. I think it's going to be a race. But I'm deeply excited about that. Thank you so much, James Hake, for breaking down this Unearthed Arcana. I do apologize that we didn't get to Tasha's Cauldron of Everything and the patrons, but we'll do a deep dive next week about patrons and also what else we got coming up for Tasha's.
What could it be? It's going to be sidekicks.
Sidekicks.
It's going to be our next topic.
That's the perfect combination. Sidekicks and patrons. I think that's a solid hour of Tasha's content coming up. Thank you, James Hake, our lead writer at D&D Beyond. He's a great friend. He's a great coworker. And he knows a ton about D&D because he writes D&D books all the time. So yeah, check out his stuff, check out his articles. And thank you so much for everyone for watching. Don't forget to vote if you haven't. And stay safe out there. I hope you have a great day. Stay well. Bye.
Cheers.